So dear friends, welcome to this another episode of webinar organized by CAHO along with the National Health Authority, along with the Association of the Global Safety Professionals. And I'm Dr. Vijay Agarwal. I'm the president of CAHO, and I welcome you all to this webinar. First of all, I'd like to welcome our guest of honor today, Dr. Vipul Agarwal. He is the Deputy CEO, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the NHA, National Health Authority. I have a very special bond with him. We have both graduated from the same college. Although, of course, as you will imagine, many years apart. And Dr. Vipul took the smart choice of not pursuing the hardcore medical line and joined IPS, and from Gujarat cadre, and from 2001 he has been in services and has been a very, very decorated officer. He served in Ahmedabad in the police department and many capacities, and also into their medical division. He is recognized almost as a change agent. He is a person who is able to get things done. And therefore, it is really heartening for us that he has joined the organization NHA, which is actually speaking, can bring about transformative change in the delivery of healthcare in India. The topic today is, of course, about the road traffic accident safety in the roadways. And you can imagine that I think a topic like this deserves much better attention. Actually, it should have deserved much better attention even from years back. But it pains us to see that even after so many, more than 1.5 lakh people die every year in the road traffic accidents. I was just reading, in fact, that in the 2019, 47 people for every 100 kilometers were dying, as compared to 44 people dying every 100 kilometers of the road in the national highways in 2018. So and this is the number of deaths. So you can imagine the number of the accident victims will be that our learned speaker will wait for Dr. Sohi. I'll talk about him after Dr. Vipul Agarwal has spoken, that what are the number of the road traffic accident victims. And I feel that out of this 1.5 lakh people, how many of them could have been saved if we had proper systems in place. So I'll request now Dr. Vipul Agarwal to talk about this topic and the role of NHA as we see in this important area. Over to you, Dr. Vipul.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal, for the introduction. Thanks to CAHO and Dr. Agarwal in particular for giving me an opportunity to speak in this August forum. In fact, Dr. Agarwal mentioned that we graduated from the same college. He has been my childhood role model, and in fact, it is a pleasure and privilege to be invited and be speaking when he is there also organizing the event. So the topic which I'm going to speak on is road safety and the role of hospitals in road safety in India. So as Dr. Agarwal mentioned, there are approximately 1.5 lakh people dying every year due to road accidents. And these are only the reported deaths. There are unreported fatalities also. And in total, as per ADSI report of 2019, approximately 4.5 lakh road traffic accidents are occurring annually in the country. And the most unfortunate aspect is that 85% of the deaths which are occurring due to the road accidents are in the productive age group of 25 to 45 years of age. As a signatory to the Brasilia resolution, India is committed to reduce the number of deaths due to road accidents. And as a part of that only, last year there was an amendment in the Motor Vehicle Act, which was made, and this was a very significant amendment. It spoke about the treatment, mandatory treatment, cashless treatment of the road traffic accident victims in the golden hour. Now, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway has done tremendous work in coming out with a draft scheme. I think that could be launched very soon. And we are fortunate to have been given the chance of being a part of that. I'll just touch upon that towards the end of my discussion. So when we speak about the role of healthcare providers in providing services in road traffic accident cases, a lot of things can happen. In fact, the hospitals can play a very significant role in reducing the casualties and improving the quality of care. We can go for geotagging of all hospitals which are catering to RTA victims. For example, especially the hospitals which are near the major highways and near accident-prone areas, so that ambulances can quickly locate and reach to the site. We also need to triage the ambulance staff in hospitals, especially in cases of accident victims with where more than one victims are involved. Apart from that, the hospital need to prepare and be ready with a contingency plan so that all the RTA victims can be taken care on a prompt and fast track basis. The hospitals also need to have emergency and minor OTs ready and major OTs, and we need to map the hospitals having these facilities. That needs to happen very fast, because once the scheme is announced, I think that mapping exercise would require to be completed at the earliest. Apart from that, the hospitals need to tie up with the nearest diagnostic centers having in-house facilities for MRI, X-rays, CT scans, etc. And we need to have casualty medical officers ready 24/7 to take care of all these cases. We need to have technicians, OT technicians, nurses, anesthetists ready in the hospital. So these facilities need to be upgraded. In fact, as we've seen in the COVID scenario, India was not prepared to handle it in the beginning. And once this case came, and then we had to become ready for facing this. Now the time has come then when we need to make our health facilities ready to take care of this great number of deaths, that to reduce the burden of disease, death due to road accidents in the country. When we talk about the examples of states which have done good work in terms of road traffic accident, I think Tamil Nadu stands out. And Tamil Nadu has come out with a scheme of Accident and Emergency Care Initiative, which is termed as TAEI, Tamil Nadu Accident and Emergency Care Initiative. And as per this initiative, they have standard protocols for training, trauma registry, trauma accident audits. They also have a algorithm in place based on due to which there is a dynamic allocation of ambulances for road traffic accident victims. And they have also introduced the concept of mobile trauma care units in the 5 national highways which are highly accident prone, which they have identified. So all these initiatives can go a long way, and we need to have such things in place in other states also. In fact, 5 states of the country, including Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, they are implementing schemes for cashless treatment of road traffic accident victims. And we need to have a scheme in place which takes care of that. And as I mentioned, Government of India is soon going to come out with such a scheme. We recently had multiple rounds of consultation with the stakeholders. A draft of proposed scheme was announced by Ministry of Road Transport Highways to take care of the feedback. And once this scheme is announced, NHA might be given the responsibility of implementation, and we are in talks with the ministry to take care of that. So this scheme, once announced, would have the component of cashless treatment of road traffic accident victims, and we would go beyond the golden hour. As per the draft of the scheme, we might go beyond the golden hour to take care of the complete stabilization, so that the patient is given adequate care before the patient is shifted, or the complete treatment is provided in the first point of care. So we have a long way to go. There's a lot which can be done, and we all need to work together to reach to a situation where the people in the productive age group can be saved. Lots of lives can be saved by early intervention, and our healthcare facilities need to prepare themselves to take care of the treatment, and we need to upgrade our facilities accordingly. Thanks once again, and thanks for giving me a chance to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vipul, for setting the context. And I think it's heartening to see at least that the emphasis on road traffic injuries and issues of that kind are high on the agenda of the government. And we look forward to working with you to accelerate this particular issue as much as we can.
Thank you.
So now we break. Thank you, Dr. Vipul. And now I'd like to kind of give the stage over to our speaker of the day, and that's Dr. Kamal Soi. Dr. Kamal Soi is the president of the GSHP, the Global Society of the HSE Professionals. But more than that, if you read his biodata, I don't think there will be probably any other person in the country who would be as knowledgeable about the road traffic issues as much as he is aware. He is a doctorate in that subject. I never knew that there could be a PhD in that subject of transportation management in transit losses, advanced postdoctoral studies in road rail safety and accident prevention from Belgium, Netherlands, Japan, Israel, and Sweden. And he's in this field for the last 20 years. He is a member of the National Road and Safety Council. He has lot more things we can talk about him, but I think I'll probably use this time from him to talk about the subject. All I can say is that we are really fortunate to have somebody like Dr. Kamal Soi to address this issue to us in a very comprehensive way. So over to you, Dr. Soi.
Thank you, Dr. Vipul. Thank you, Dr. Vijay Agarwal, and it's my privilege and honor, to be here. Like Dr. Vipul was saying, you have been a role model for many people, and specifically when I was getting associated with you, I've learned a lot about you, and whatsoever you have done for the humanity is tremendous. And these kind of people who leave their profession for doing something for society and for the humanity are rare breeds. My salute to you, and first, many thanks for giving me this stage to speak about this very important issue which is plaguing our generations. And in fact, India is the worst hit country. I'll just take you through a little bit to what is happening. Yeah, this is, road safety and BUI. In next 20 minutes, I'll just take you through what is happening in the country and what is happening across the globe. This is a little bit about me. I'm member National Road Safety Council, Ministry of Road Transport Highways. I'm president of Global Society of HSE Professionals. You have introduced me well enough to not to take much time for the people. I just want to show you a slide. Suppose a jumbo jet crashes today, killing 500 people. Oh my God, is it not scary? Suppose if 8 jumbo jet crashes today. Is it not scary? But this is a fact. 8 jumbo jet crashes every day on world roads, killing more than 3,800 people every day. Every 23rd second, one life is lost. Is it not a tragedy? It is not tragedy. This is happening every day, day after day on our roads. And our roads are smeared with blood. I always say this, we are living in such a atmosphere where the roads are smeared with blood. You take a newspaper every morning in the morning, you'll find that, there's blood scattered everywhere, and you'll find so many people dead and things like that. A little bit about the background. About 1.4 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crashes in this globe. About 20 and 50 million more people suffer non-fatal injuries, with many incurring a disability as a result of this injury. Road traffic injuries is the leading cause of death among young people. Like Dr. Vipul was saying, their age group 15 to 29. And 90% of the world fatalities on the roads is occurring in lower middle income countries like us. Even though these countries have approximately 1% of the world vehicle, but we are lose 90% of fatalities are happening on our roads. Half of those dying on the world roads are vulnerable road users, pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. Like he was saying, Dr. Vipul was saying, we are signatory to Brasilia declaration that we will try to bring it down to by 2030. We'll try to bring it down to 50% of all the road global deaths. The similar agenda we had in 2010 when we adopted, the decade of action. I just want to take you to a very scary situation. This is a place in Telangana called Pedakunta. This is in a city called district called Mehboob Nagar, and lying adjacent to the highway bypass. This place is called Village of Widows. You do not have any male, or just one male adult. 37 have died and 3 have left the village for good. These are the situation. These are the scary situation in India. I was just talking about, I don't want to compare it with Corona, but I was just thinking about, what is happening in Corona. Corona worldwide death has crossed 900,000. Although we are among the people who are attached to the hospitals and the Corona warriors. Just talking about Corona, and I believe that the confirmed cases is almost near 30 million. Total death approximately 9 lakhs. India official figure has crossed around 46 lakhs, and death is around 80,000. These are the official figures. This is how the Corona stands on 4th of September, 5 p.m. BST. But now the deaths are happening, and India maybe is number 2nd after US. Why I brought Corona here? The Corona happens once in a century. But this Corona of road crashes and road accidental deaths is happening every year and every day on our Indian roads, or in fact on world roads as well. And road safety is not only a social issue, this is a public health issue. And this should be a public health priority as well. I always call road safety or road crashes, this is a socio-economic issue. This is not only an issue which is one kind of, act of God. Some people, there was a chief minister of one state. Once he was asked, the number of road accidents and fatalities have gone up. He said to the journalist, what can I do? This is the act of God. But I tell you, this is not an act of God. Road accidents are predictable and preventable. We always say, let us protect innocent lives from vehicle violence. This is a vehicle violence happening on our world roads as well as on Indian roads to a greater extent. India contributes 11% of world road fatalities. This is the reality check. The crashes cost US dollar 1,500 billion per year. Forget about congestion. I'm just not talking about congestion at all here, but congestion cost, again, lot of billion of dollars. Road traffic crashes cost our countries even more than 3% of their gross GDPs, and even to 5% in some low income countries. I always say that this horror smash is his fault. bad luck, bad timing, these are all preventable. I mind my saying this. I've been into field from last 25 years, and I can always assess all road crashes are predictable as well as preventable. Now I was in a program in West Bengal in Kolkata, and people will talking about road safety. A few people, the communist people, they came up. Then why do we need to have motorized transport? This is the motorized trans. These crashes are one of the effects of transport on health. If transport leads to physical inactivity, is a noise, is air pollution, is climate changes, is the crashes and the psychosocial effects. I do not know, just the food for thought. Has the transport is maybe weighing heavily on our health and our system? Now, slowly there is a paradigm shift and everybody has started thinking like this, road crashes are predictable and preventable. And road crashes is a multi-sectoral issue. I'm not saying accident. I'm not saying accident. Accident is uh, can be an act of God. But road crashes are incidents which are claiming precious human lives. Traffic management should accommodate common human errors. Traffic management should account for the vulnerability of the human body. And road safety is a social equity issue. It doesn't look at the social status of anyone. Even the ex-president of India, Yani Jal Singh, lost his life because of a road crash. A few cabinet ministers, judges, policemen, and a very, very good hockey player. I still miss him. Yuvraj Singh, he was a wonderful drag flicker, but he lost his leg because of the road crash and he never recovered after that. Road crashes are, this is a transport of complex interactions. We always struggle with design and operation of transport network, assess condition towards from the transport network, the road environment, the street road users, the vehicles. These are many complex interactions which are leading to these crashes. This is a fact of the facts vulnerable road users are at risk. 43% of victims are vulnerable road users. Highest proportion of pedestrian facilities in CIS countries. All CIS countries with a still speed limit of 60 km per hour in the urban areas. I'm just saying the vulnerable road users are really at risk. The decade of action I was talking about, the goal of the decade 2011 to 2020 was to halt or reverse the increasing trend in road traffic fatalities around the world. We planned that the 5 million lives can be saved across the globe, but it didn't happen. This was a decade of action called by United Nations resolution is March 2010, tabled by the Russian Federation. It ran from 2011, is still running 2020. Of course, now we are into a different Brasilia declaration. They launched on 11th May 2011, and the plan of action was encouraged in 5 pillars. This is number 1 is road safety management, then safer roads and mobility, safer vehicles, safer road users, and post-crash response. Fortunately, in the 2019 Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill, all these things have been tried to be taken care. And how far we get success, it's yet to be seen. But most of all the 5 pillars of road safety as per UN Declaration of 2010 has been included in the this decade of action program. These are few challenges in India. These are because of this iron road protrudings, more than 6,000 to 7,000 lives are lost on the Indian roads. And these pictures are not isolated ones. These you can find frequently, maybe on northern roads or even southern roads. I've seen many. This is again a common scene while losing precious human lives. This is also, you can see how many, maybe it's very difficult to count how many number of kids the one rickshaw puller is taking along. I always call road accidents in India versus road terrorism. It is a terrorist in our driving seats. Road kills more than the terrorism in India. Road safety calls for special attention in India, where drivers killed 150,000 people on our roads last year, more than all the terrorism-related deaths in the past 30 years, all put together. On an average, 326 are happening on Indian roads every year, with a daily death toll of over 500. I'll come in my future slides. We do not have data, exact data, but I can tell you the world, the WHO says that death toll in India is around 250,000 people. We are saying 150,000 people. But the scenario is really, at this point of time, is really very bad and really is spine chilling. India, a country of death on roads. This is a really sorry state of affairs. I was in a program in China, and sometime, you start fiddling with your mobile phone or something, your eyes were down, and I heard a speaker speaking. India is number one. Oh my God, I thought, good. You have your head held in pride when you hear this kind of a statement, India is number one. The next sentence was shocking. The next sentence was India is number one in road accidental deaths in the world. So here, ladies and gentlemen, we have 150,000 people dying. Over 5 lakhs are injured seriously. 4.5 lakh official number of cases are registered. And economic loss over $35 billion, little less than our defense budget. And road crashes are is a socio-economic issue. I always relate it to a public health disease, which has to be dealt like corona. While we are dealing corona, number of days we have shut everything. There was lockdown, and maybe for the 40, 50 days, everything came to a halt. Suppose we we take a decision that we will not allow any motorized vehicle to ply for Saturday, Sundays for 6 weeks. You will see that number of deaths will tremendously go down. And even now, the country will witness number of deaths going down in 2020 as well, because many days there was a lockdown. So similarly, as corona came, we started building the sanitizers, the N95 masks, the all the PP kits and stuff like that. Why not for this corona which is happening every year on Indian roads? Why not this corona which is taking 500 deaths, 500 innocent lives every day on Indian roads? So the people at the helm of affairs, they must understand this is a public health disease and this has to be dealt like that. Our challenge is 5 M's. This 5 M's is not that 3M company. This is a different 5 M's which I've coined. 1 M is the man, the driver. The second M is the machine, the vehicle. The third M is the medium, the road where this machine is being run. Fourth M is very, very important, is the medical care. This comes after all the 3 M's fails. Then fifth M is the management of all these efforts, which leads to safety and security. First time is the man, the driver, behind the wheels, behind a motorized transport. All these studies refer, whether in India or abroad or in even United States, even in European countries, that human error accounts to around 90% of collisions. Although we have this data is little changing now, we have brought it down to 74%, keeping in mind the infrastructure failures and the vehicle failures and stuff. So we're trying to change that. Maybe the man, the driver, of course, because he is behind the wheel, so he has to understand, if failing to judge properly, misjudging other road users' movements, being distracted, careless, or in too much of a hurry are the most common causes of a collision on roads. And he's just a bike, why don't you pass, honey? Overspeeding kills. Driver's role is very, very important. Vehicle controlled with the driver, responsible for overall hands on steering wheel and foot on the pedal at all times. Drivers are responsible for monitoring the road and are expected to be available for control at all times. This is a full-time job. And we as drivers, we feel that this is another kind of us, maybe we keep, at times we use mobile phone while driving. We try to fiddle with our music system. We we make it as a karo bar, like bar in the car, and even a restaurant in the car as well. We start eating as well. But believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, this is driving is a full-time job, and we have to concentrate while we are driving on the driving only. These are the top reasons for road crashes. Number one is the overspeeding of the vehicle. The driver was under intoxication. The driver was sleepy because of long drive. The vehicle had lived its life. The driver did not know the road junction. There was no signboards about the road junction. I was just few days back, there was a road crash happened in Delhi, wherein Honda City turtled from the flyover down on the Janakpuri flyover, down 40 feet. But fortunately, everybody was saved. Everybody is under. They are all good. No casualty took place. But just think about it. There was a flaw in the infrastructure. Why there was no crash barrier? Why the side wall was so that a car could jump over that side wall and fell down? This is all the infrastructure issues. This is again, the second M is the machine. BMW is known as one of the safest car, but this BMW 3 Series split into two. This incident happened in Ludhiana, and on a one main road, and 4 young kids were killed. Once we studied the crash test of this vehicle, BMW 3 Series, we found that the side safety of this car was really below average. So, then we further researched, we found that around the 32 cases, this car has split into two across the globe. So this means somewhere they compromised with the side safety of the car. That led to many people losing their lives. In India, we care for everything but the safety of our vehicles. The popular small cars like Alto, i10, Nano, they failed crash test. So whenever we go to buy a vehicle, buy a car, let us say 4-wheeler, we are into an iron cage, and this iron cage has to protect us. But these small cars, when the safety is not embedded into it, they become the moving coffins. And I remember one the best-selling Indian car so far killed 300,000 people. Can you imagine it? One car killed 300,000 people, and that was the best-selling car once upon a time. Now I'm skipping the third M, that is the medium, that is the road, because we are the main topic is the hospitals, and how can we have the best of the hospital facilities for the accident crash victims. So I'm coming straight away to the medical care. Medical care is very, very important. If the driver fails, if the vehicle fails, if the infrastructure fails, that leads to a crash. And in the event of a crash, what happens? We need to protect our people who becomes victim to the road accident crashes. So trauma management, the golden hour and platinum 10 minutes. These are very, very important. And I've seen with my own eyes, with my own hands, I'm involved in saving few people at the accident scene. And I've seen that if any delay happens, the people lose their life. The crash victim management immediate phase is triage, resuscitation, the airway, breathing, ABC, breathing circulation, the safe evacuation from vehicle, first aid, and the safe transport to the nearby facility. This is normally the flow chart once the emergency call happens. And now I will talk about the Indian condition at this point of time. At this point of time, we do not have a common emergency number. Although Ministry of Home Affairs, they came out with the number 112, which many states have not adopted as yet. That 112 was categorized as the emergency numbers for all the emergencies. But as of now, we do not have that emergency number functioning because there is hardly any integration with the MHA and Ministry of Transport, as well as the Ministry of Health and many other coordinating agencies. So right now this is emergency call, then we have the scene location, then the call center, then the emergency provider, and the rescue vehicle from base. This is a flow chart how it happens. The police, the fire and rescue, the ambulance, and the civil. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just see, are we somewhere near this? Like Dr. Vipul was saying, there is the Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu was the first state to introduce RADMS, Road Accident Data Management System, and that was followed by the state of Himachal Pradesh. And luckily, I was part of that World Bank project. There we, distributed tabs to all the inquiry officers, and wherever the accident was, the crash was happening, they used to go and have the the real time data into the system, and that's how they used to do. But and on a pan India basis, right now we do not have this kind of a flow chart happening, and we are talking about the medical care. These are few things which is lacking in our system. I'm sure with the new amendment bill 2019, the things will fall in place, and we will have a good emergency number happening, which is this emergency number which connects to all the dots and which takes a victim to the hospital in a better way. The concept of golden hour is the concept of trauma care developed by Dr. Adam Scholey. So this is to refer to the amount of time from injury to the definite care that should be allotted to maximize survival from traumatic injury. Most studies have shown if care given within the first hour of injury, morbidity and mortality can be reduced. And I'm sure most of the participants in this today's seminar, they are from the medical side. You will agree with me, the first hour of injury is very, very important. And if we are able to give the required first aid and the required, treatment, we can save many precious human lives. This is, of course, you all are medical, related to the medical field, you can understand in 10 minutes, some brain regions are red. In 1 hour, just look at that, how it is expanding in 3 hours. And after that, the patient survival becomes real difficult. This is the taken from Paramount Health. This is the first hour after road accidents, which is called the golden hour. If proper first aid is given, a road accident victim has a greater chance of survival. We have seen that maybe more than 50 to 60% the victims can survive if they are provided the first aid and the treatment in the first hour. They assess the extent of victim's injuries, check if the person is breathing and has a pulse, call for an ambulance, treat the victim's wound, keep the victim warm, avoid feeding the victim, and perform life-saving techniques like CPR, suspect if there are any spinal injuries. The timely intervention and proper first aid care can save many precious lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost one ex-president of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam, because he was not offered CPR. If he would have been offered CPR, he might have been surviving even now. So we have little medical care being observed in our day-to-day normal life, and even in our educational medical institutions as well. Gentlemen and ladies, every minute counts. A bid to save lives of road crash victims. Platinum 10 minutes and golden hour. At least 50% of the fatalities can be averted if the victims are admitted to a hospital within the first hour. So the medical care is very, very important after a road crash happens. We in India, we brought good SmartCare law again through the intervention of our judiciary, the fourth pillar of democracy, the last pillar of democracy, judiciary came into action, and we brought good SmartCare law. I remember people questioning me. I could save few people while transporting them to Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, from place called Nilo. And when I reached there, there was police cops and they were not allowing me to go from there. But I said nothing doing, doesn't matter. So we let the people be safe. So the Good Samaritan law came into existence, and it provides the person, anybody who is helping a road accident victim to bring him to the hospitals or nearby health centers. No question will be asked, and they can go after admitting the victim to the hospital. They can go and no question will be asked. So this is a Good Samaritan law, which many people, they do not know about it. But you can always help the accident victim if you want to, if you have that kind of love towards humanity. I always tell people who questions me that what if a police cop put a case on me, a police cop asked me to stay back for questioning and stuff like that. If he calls me frequently for witnessing, for giving witness, I always tell them, if you have humanity, if you have a softer heart in your body, you can always face these questions and face this little harassment for saving a human life. So maybe law or not, but just, we are fortunate if we have a good Samaritan law as of now. Then first responders, this is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. The first responders are those people who first see the crash. And these first responders, I was talking to Dr. Agarwal, and we brought a project of the similar kind, that the cashless treatment of road accident victims, that was Saving Life project. In the first phase, this project, we did a pilot from Amritsar to Pathankot. That is this Makkah. The idea was Makkah of Sikhs to Makkah of Hindus, to see that all the pilgrims who comes to visit Golden Temple, they normally goes to visit Vaishno Devi as well. So while going on their own vehicles, sometimes they meet the road crash, and sometimes they don't have money as well. So we created this project from Amritsar to Pathankot, and in that project, I'm just sharing it with you. In that project, we tracked, we searched first responders. We gave them the first aid training. We trained them, and all the first responders, they were taken from the nearby villages and the places on the highway, so that anybody who get into a crash, so that these responders, they will immediately respond to the emergency number, so that the help can reach there. Although that project didn't see the light of the day, and that was shifted from Gurgaon to Jaipur, and then another one is right now also running in the state of Jharkhand, and one is running in Gujarat. So right now, once first responder is there, he will look for an emergency number. And once we do not have a national emergency number like 112, so who that person will contact to, and that number has to be widely publicized. So that is how the cashless treatment of road accident victims came into this thing, that people who are traveling on the roads, they do not carry enough cash, they do not carry enough of the resources for the treatment, and once they meet with the road crash, they succumb to their injuries without being even treated. And doctors and the hospitals, private hospitals, they don't even touch them, because we can empathize with them. This is a commercial world these days. So any hospital, everything, it costs money. This scheme by Government of India is underway. This scheme, which is already, the press statement has come out and the draft is already there. That is a cashless treatment of road accident traffic victims to save precious human lives in golden hours, and as well as going further to see that they are treated well. This cashless treatment scheme for road accident victims with ₹2.5 lakhs capping per case. Ministry of Road Transport Highways has prepared a blueprint for implementing this scheme of cashless treatment as per the Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill 2019. This includes treatment of victims during the crucial golden hour. The NHA, being the nodal agency of PMJY, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and having footfall across the country with over 23,000 hospitals have given to understand on board and has been entrusted to implement this scheme. But here we have to make sure that all these hospitals, they are properly categorized, they are properly standardized for to handle road accident victims. I remember in the previous government, we came out with around 60 trauma centers across the highways. Out of 60, I believe even now 30 to 40 are working. So that kind of a stuff, we have to understand that all the hospitals, which whosoever is being impaneled, they have those kind of facility to treat those road accident victims. To provide compulsory insurance cover to all road users in the country. The fund, the government Ministry of Road Transport Highways going to have a fund which will be utilized for treatment of road accident victims and for payment of compensation to the injured or to the family of person losing life in hit and run cases. I just want to tell you, as per the Motor Vehicle Amendment Bill, there is a provision of giving 100,000 rupees as the ex gratia for the to the person who dies in the crash. I think the 200,000 for the dying in a crash and 100,000 rupees for the seriously injured for their after all the proper documentation and all. The proposed modalities of the scheme have been designed in a way that they assess to quality care at the right time for all individuals, irrespective of their ability or capability to pay. All road accident victims of Indian or foreign nationalities will be considered for this scheme as its beneficiaries. The scheme will have a cap of 2.5 lakhs rupees per person per accident. Trauma and healthcare services to road accident will be financed through an account which will be established under the road ministry for the implementation of this scheme. The funds will have contribution from the insurance companies through General Insurance Council for insured vehicles and for hit and run cases. Besides this, vehicle owners will be liable to pay the cost of treatment as a part of compensation in case of uninsured vehicles. Hospitals have to ensure provision of stabilization in case they refer the patient to an impaneled PMJY hospital where the complete treatment may be provided. So this comes as per the draft proposal. This cashless treatment of RTA victims comes under PMJY. So I'm sure the PMJY will have impanel all the hospitals who are, maybe standardized. They are categorized, certified also to be fit to handle those RTA victims. Now, these are the questions. How are we going to have first responders? Who's going to train these first responders? And how we are going to have them on board? How we are going to motivate these people to see that they come forward and they respond. They inform the authorities and the people and then inform on the emergency number. And where is the emergency number right now? Where how the integration? I was if National Health Authority, they have good IT background. If they can integrate all the emergency services under one emergency number, like hospital, as soon as a road crash happens and the message goes there, and immediately everybody is geared up. That is, the message goes to the hospital, nearby hospital. The message goes to the recovery van. The message goes to the ambulance. The message goes to the hydraulic cutter, because in a road crash, the victims, sometimes they are entangled in the vehicle. They have to be removed out of the vehicle to be transported. How they are to be transported? Then we in India, we have lesser number of paramedics. We do not have paramedics. I just want to tell you that we have around 2,500 toll plazas in the country, but all the toll roads, it is in the model concessionaire agreement that they are responsible for road safety of that a particular road, and they have to have a doctor as well as paramedics in the ambulance. But I have gone and inspected many toll plazas. They do not have trained paramedics. They do not have trained doctors there available. So where are we going to find those doctors? How are we going to train them. This is a big business opportunity as far as the hospitals are concerned. This is opportunity for the social organizations, the NGOs, that they have to train the first responders, they have to train the paramedics, they have to categorize the hospitals, they have to standardize, they have to set standards for the hospitals, the availability of ambulances. Although 108 ambulances is working at many places, but those ambulances have to be the life support ambulances, the advanced life support ambulances with the facility of a little OT also. I have inspected few ambulances. But to talk of the OT, they do not have even oxygen cylinders in their ambulances. And I'm talking about the 108 ambulances and even the ambulances which are stationed at the various toll plazas. Are we going to give first aid training and CPR to all our citizens while issuing them the driving licenses? How we are going to have the recovery vans placed at 50 kilometers area, every 50 kilometers at least. We should have recovery vans, the hydraulic cutters, the transportation, trauma care and treatment, the triad. These response time, best response time in the world is around 18 minutes. That is by UK first aid. So how can we bring it? How can we make sure that our response time to emergency situation is around 20 minutes, so that a patient can be transported in the golden hour, or maybe he can be at least attended. So all these things have to be integrated in such a way that the first responders response to the emergency number, then all the emergency services are geared up. Even to save a human life, if we need to have the helicopters, ambulances services available, we should get into that as well, because human life is very, very precious and we need to save it. And if Government of India is committed to provide cashless treatment of all RTAs, all road traffic accident victims, so we need to keep in mind that all these things are really required. The basic infrastructure has to be developed in order to see that the hospitals are geared up to handle any kind of eventuality and emergency. And what happens in the road crashes, not only you have one victim, you have multiple victims. If you have a head-on crash, you have maybe 6, 7, 10 victims. I remember once I witnessed that road crash between a Toyota Qualis and a Indica car. Their victims were in total, they were 11. So the 11 people, and once we have to make sure that the hospital is geared up and hospital has that kind of infrastructure to handle those 11 people. So this is I always tell my people that that is road safety. Can we create no fatal zones where no deaths takes place? Can we have no accident zones where no crashes happens? Can we have no congestion zones where free movement of traffic takes place? These are few questions. ABS took 17 years and ACC took 14 years to 5% penetration. This I'm talking about the vehicle, for the vehicles. Disruption of insurance industries, liability migrates from the driver to the manufacturer. A large part of the safety can be done with the advanced driver assistance systems. Automation is enabler for shared vehicle market. Lack of lawbreakers will decimate local budgets. The 90% of organ donations come from auto accidents. We must understand this, that this I'm talking about. I just want to give a hint to people who are listening to me. Car crashes, deaths will be death by computer if we get into the automation. The car is just a commuter on wheels, just another device between the consumer and the info data. These are somewhere when the automation comes. Of course, we are more concerned with the post-crash care in this seminar, and I'm sure the post-crash care has to be strengthened in order to save. Somehow, believe you me, the road crashes can happen and will happen. But our idea is to see that if a crash happens, the fatalities can be reduced, fatality can be minimized, the serious injuries can be controlled. And to control that, the hospital management and the hospital care is going to be tremendous and the utmost important. And for not only important, we have to make sure that they are standardized They are well equipped. The infrastructure is well in place. The response time is less than 20 minutes. The ambulances, the doctors, the paramedics, they all are trained to handle those kind of emergency situations. This is a statement by Henry Ford. If I had listened to my customer, I would have developed a faster horse than a motorized vehicle so that no accident takes place and only people can run on a horse. These are the conclusions. The road traffic injuries are the leading cause of persons' years of life, lost in people under 45 years, and a threat to economic development. Automation in vehicle and traffic management and land use policies that reduces exposure to road traffic injury risk and reduce congestion and improve emissions is a need of the hour. Improving technology of the vehicles for crash resistance and protection of road user inside outside is the key factor. And modifying risk behaviors through social marketing onto setting and enforcing legislation for road safety, like Government of India is doing it, and delivering effective post-crash care. The post-crash care is very, very important. It can save over 50% of human lives. And I'm sure all of you will agree it is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Soli, for this, I think, very comprehensive coverage of this entire topic. And there was one question already for you, and that was that how do you attend, or how is the attendance happening during this pandemic time? And I think one fact that you already brought out is that thankfully, the number of accidents happening during this time would have gone down tremendously. But of course, the person who got into an accident and is now needing care is becoming a bit of a problem because of the various, I would say, even directives in terms of the patient has to be seen, that is whether it's COVID, non-COVID, etc., etc. So there is a problem there.
Yes, Dr. Agarwal, what is happening is there's a huge fear psychosis. People, they are afraid to touch you. Even the people who are suffering from heart diseases, they are afraid of going to doctors. And what to talk of accident victims. And, you know, I've seen maybe in 3, 4, 5 states, the doctors are really hesitating in, you know, touching the people. And that is really serious. And once, you know, this is humanity is getting hit, you know, and these days the survival rate of you know, I was talking to because I'm on and on into road safety, so I was talking to few people. The survival rate has gone down because the kind of first aid and the kind of the care should have been taken of the accident victims is not being taken care.
I totally agree with you, and that's also because of, I said, the confusing kind of directives, and naturally those directives have been kind of changing every 3 days or 5 days, and also not a single command. You know, even things happening in one district are very different than happening in the another district. So of course this is like a definite problem, because the kind of fear that we have instilled, instead of providing, I would say, confidence in the protective measures that we can take, and then to attend our work. So of course, I would say the vast majority of the doctors are still standing out there. Huge number of doctors have sacrificed their lives. Also, I can say that lot of hospitals are taking care of the road accident victims without waiting for, you know, their relations, etc., to come. Lots and lots of hospitals are doing that. I can quote one hospital. In fact, they also quoted on the chat, and I'm aware of that. For example, Ganga Hospital in Coimbatore, they have made a reputation about it. It is a known thing that if there is a road accident victim in Coimbatore, go to Ganga Hospital and you will be handled without anybody asking for any money till the time you are kind of stabilized. And I do
Very
remember
nice.
the hospital that I was handling prior to joining MAC, that was Max Vaishali now, but earlier Pushpanjali Crossley. It was our dictum that anybody coming into the emergency. And not only the road accident victim, we said anybody whose life is in danger, I said first attend his life, and then only we'll look at whether he could pay, not pay, whatever. So, and I know one thing, that lots of hospitals are following that. However, as I said, that over a period of time, economics is also becoming a big issue, because you are getting bank loans at a total commercial rate. The hospitals have to pay 13, 14%, sometimes 15% interest. Now at least the MSME rule has been is there, which has included the hospitals. So I'm sure that a lot of hospitals will be benefiting with that. Your talk, Dr. Kamal Soi, has definitely, I think, will inspire a lot of people to do something more about this whole issue of road traffic accident. And I think your organization of the Global Society of HSE Professionals and CAHO, I think we should come together and bring about some more organizations to start addressing some of the issues that you have talked about. I can
one
also
thing more, yeah, Dr. Agrawal, yes, interrupting you. One thing more, the fact which I wanted to bring, which I couldn't talk in my presentation, that is the data, the problem of data. I have, studied this road accident numbers from a very, very close angle. And what I found that there are around 5 agencies in India which are collecting data, and none of these agencies' data is matching. You see, I did a study with IIT Delhi with 4 or 5 hospitals in and around the northern part, and we found that the number of victims coming to the hospitals, the number of deaths happening in the hospitals, and the number of deaths being reported, there is a gap of around 20 to 25%. So even, I tell you a very glaring example, in Punjab, I asked the 108 ambulance to how many road accident victims they have handled in a year. They gave me a data of 27,000 road accident cases they have handled in a year. And once I look at the FIRs, the number of FIR is 6,500. This means there is a gap of 400%. So the data is a real issue. The number of autopsies conducted on road accident victims is 4 times higher than the number of cases reported. So we all like CAHO is all into healthcare, and we into GSHP. This is such a burning issue, and which is affecting our generations. We have to make sure that we at least come out and force the governments to at least have a centralized data management system, so that at least on a click of button we can find that where it is happening, why it is, until and unless why, how, and how it happened. If we do not come to know, we cannot devise the strategies to control it.
You are touching a lot of pain points, sir. So anyway, we will talk about it since we have exceeded our time. And I'll request all the participants to send their suggestions, and we will take up this issue. In fact, I will see to it that we are nowadays also supporting the publication of a digital health magazine called Dialogue. And I will request you to maybe based on this webinar, we will create a lead story regarding the road traffic accidents.
Sure.
So thank you very much, and thank you very much all the participants.
You are welcome, and namaskar and sat sri akal to everybody. Thank you very much for giving me this time. Thank you.